Good afternoon, everyone. It's Linda here from Banjo's Beat House with our weekly Facebook Live video. And as the name of this one suggests, I'm not going to get my words out right today. It's been one of those days. As it indicates, we are having a look at Soutache cord, which is the latest rainbow I've added to the shop. So how did we come about to add this one to the shop? You might be thinking, because it's not a bead. And it's a braided cord. So if you remember in May, we ran the Mining for Malachite class with Meg. Well, that is using a technique which is Soutache work. And for that, you need the braided cords, which is the Soutache cords, which I've now added to the website. A couple of you have picked up on that and had fun adding to the color range beyond my wildest dreams of what I thought we'd have. As you're about to see, there is a huge rainbow. There's a couple holes in it, which someone else has plugged during the week. So there'll be a couple more colors arriving shortly. But I'm loving the fact that you guys are enjoying this and looking forward to seeing what Meg has created for another Soutache based class in the new year. So stay tuned for that one. Just a heads up, the newsletter comes out on next week. It will not only have our new box, it's also going to have something special in it. So it's worth keeping an eye on your inbox for that one. But for now, I'm going to tip you guys down and we will take a look at my Mining for Malachite project, which is not finished. And so you can see what you do with Soutache, and then we're going to take a look at the actual cords itself. So this was my kit. Some of you might have seen this in social photos. So this class is also the reason why we have thick felt on the range, because this is the base that I used in my class. Good tip I learned in this class is keep all of your scraps because you can use them when you're backing. So I now have a pile of felt scraps building on my desk. So for the cord itself, this has got some glue where I've got a cut. But this is the Soutache braid. And you can just, probably not in that color. Let me get a darker color out and see if I can get this to focus. Sorry, focus button is buried. You can see the line running down the middle. That's where you actually stitch in this. So it's quite a fun process. You can, stitch layers of this together, which is one of the techniques. You can also set it up with seed beads in between, put beads and all sorts of stuff and have a lot of fun. So this is, ironically enough, the technique of beading that got me interested in starting my beading journey, let's just say more than half of my lifetime ago. And it wasn't until this year that I actually got to explore, because looking at it from books, it just looked too scary. I wanted to actually take a class. So when Meg offered, I jumped. So this is my work in progress. I've still got to do the other side of this to match this, and there's some edge work and a bail. But yeah, it's one of those things of I get a finite amount of time, and you can see on the back, just going to turn that light off. You can see on the back there, you've got all of your tails. So as you said, that extra felt's going to go in there to even this out. So you get a nice clean back. But you can see my haphazard stitch marks, but this is my first one. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. And then I've got beads embedded in between. So, you're stitching each one of those down as you go through all of the layers. So on this particular run, you're actually stitching through 4 layers and into the felt. So for me, as a very tight tension beater, this process has made me slow right down and really think about my tension. But I love the fact this is really, really lightweight. You can have fun creating different shapes, doing all sorts of fun things. And I've also seen Meg use the Soutache just as an edge banding, as opposed to, say, using O beads, which or seed beads as a banding, which I do a lot. So something I certainly want to play around with in the future is using that as an edge. But that's the process. So this is why we now have lots of colors of cords. So we're going to take a look. Now, these are in no particular order because I literally just grabbed one of everything. And we're just going to dive right in. So some are metallic, some are not metallic. Metallic is 350 meter for 3 meters, and I think the others are 250 until I can actually see one on my desk. Yeah, the others are 250 for 3 meters. So we have pre-cut all of this onto cord, and we've taped the edges to stop it from fraying. So this one is metallic silver. So you've got your lovely bright silver. You've got metallic gray, so you've got that darker, more gunmetal kind of color. This one is rose pink, so it's not a metallic, but it's got a bright pink to it. Going to the pales, you've got pale yellow. What's next up? This is a wine, so it's a into the deeper burgundy kind of reds. We'll go back to pink. This one is pink. There you go. So it's kind of, your mid-tone pink. We've kind of got this kind of in satin and wax cords. Into metallic blue. Now this one just screams to me, Bermuda blue kind of tones. You've got metallic green, which screams to me the Sphinx color family. So as always, I usually put things back to crystals or Miyuki seed beads because that's just the way my color brain works. You've got metallic gold, so it's not quite your Duracoat gold or even champagne. It's more the start of the metallic series in the Miyuki. So a different shade of gold for that one. This one is also called gold, but it's not the metallic. So this is probably closer to what we'd all normally think of a traditional gold. We've got metallic pink. So it's a lovely kind of like smoky pink almost into that smoky amethyst kind of zone. We've got dark green. So, that lovely emeraldy type of color. For our red fans again, we have metallic red. So you're getting really that lovely metallic-y vibe. So it's extra shine. We have navy. So for those of you who love the darker tones, we have golden yellow. So for that really bright, vibrant yellow pop. Okay, and this one is metallic pale gold. So this to me would go really, really well with the new pale gold leather because it's kind of in that same family. So it'd be interesting to see how I can work with that one in the future. This is metallic light blue. So again, just that lovely brightness to it, and the metallic Duracoat beads in the 5000 series. I think there's a blue in that color that would really go well with that. You've got royal blue, so very classic, nice blue. We're nearly through. Listen, we've had a huge rainbow influx into the shop, which has been really fun. Metallic fuchsia, so that lovely dark pink. For people who love bright, we have neon orange, and there's actually a few neons on the range up on the website. We have what they've called red. So this is more like an orangey red. So like the silver lined red orange. It's in the DB40 series. That's probably more this kind of red color. You've got the color they're calling silk, so really nice basic neutral tone. We have dark red, so really going up into that burgundy spectrum on that one. We have dark blue, so really getting into that moody kind of Montana end of the blues. And lastly, I've got two blacks, and I held the blacks back for last. So this is plain black, I should say, and this is metallic black. So there's just a little bit of extra shine in the metallic one versus the other one. So it'll be interesting to see how they work up a little bit differently. So yeah, two blacks on the range. You've got metallic black, and then you've got regular black. So as I said, the regular ones are 250 for your 3 meters, and these guys are 350 for your 3 meters, where there is the metallic. The metallic are a little bit they feel a little bit thicker, and they have a slightly different feel to them. I can't really put that into words yet until I go and work with one of the metallic ones to see how that works up. But they certainly look really fun, and in some of the pieces that Meg showed us, the metallic really does have a pop when you're layering and playing up. So looking forward to having a go with those. How easy is this to learn, if that makes sense, out of all the things I've learned? Um, it's not so bad, but it does take a lot of pre-thought into how you're going to do your design, so that when you cut your thread, so you cut your cord because you need to double it over, you need to allow room for burying it at the back. You've got to be very careful unpicking it if you do, because and with the needles, so that you don't like pull out threads in the cord. So there is some trickiness to it. It's certainly not, I'd put it in the, you want to have some beading experience. And for me, it was trying to go at a calm, loose pace, which for me is a big challenge, because I'm usually, beading 3 or 4 beads and then pulling. You can't do that with this. You've got to treat each step carefully. You've got to be very precise in landing your needle right in the middle of that thread because you can throw off your whole thing. So, the process itself is not that complicated. It's more about learning how to adapt how you work to the particulars of this. So as I get a bit more into it and get some time to play, which is hopefully once I get all of the boxes designed this year, I have uh, half of August still to go, September, October, November's, 2 advents and a couple of other things. So once I get all of that off my plate, then I get to go play with Sutash. So at that stage, I'm hoping I can play and we can do some Sutash stuff next year, with me playing at, again, at a very beginner level, but to show you guys what is possible. And then, as I said, we'll have classes with Meg coming up where we can take it to a whole new level as well. So, which will be a lot of fun. She chose to do this particular one, which is a seed bead embroidery base, so it'll have a familiarity point. She's removing that on the next one. So it's just doing the Sutash element. Yeah, horrible tension skills. Yeah, some of us do, some of us don't. Those with really loose tension will find Sutash a lot easier. I had to back my stuff off quite a bit, but it's a learning process. And it was an adjustment working with felt, and adjustment working with that, and that's, I think, part of the fun of working and developing your skills is playing around with all of that. So for me, that's been the fun part with Sutash. Plus, I think I've added about 7 books to my library at home, all on Sutash, and I keep flicking through them, going, "Oh, that'd be fun, that'd be fun, that'd be fun." And yeah, have a my mind map board of things that I want to go and experiment with, and there's about 9 pages of that are all Sutash. So at some point, I need to sit down and actually play. The cool thing is, thanks to all of you guys having so much fun with color, I have a huge stash of all the offcuts where we've had weird joins and things like that. I have all of that in my collection now. So I've got a huge color stash to start playing with when I have some time. So I hope in all of that long-windedness, I've answered your question, Karina. And Glenda, they look even better in person. It's all about this is all about trying to inspire you guys to have some fun. So hopefully we can, if I can find some free Sutash patterns, I'll get them up on the site. If not, I'll try and do some of that stuff in Facebook Fridays, but that will be in next year once I feel more confident in doing it. But until then, I hope this has inspired you to possibly go and Google it, get on Pinterest, have a look, be a little inspired, start imagining the things you could create, and start yet another beading journey, like I did. So enjoy the rabbit hole. I will be back next week with our next Facebook Live Friday. I'll see you guys then. Bye for now.